Hi, so today I'm officially starting the garden in my backyard, which is very exciting. So I'm going to show you our garden before we did anything to it, and then I've done a couple things. I've put in some edging at the back fence, some hedges, and today I'm putting in the first official plants for the garden, so very excited about that. I'm also going to show you the kind of potted area that I have experimented with so far, and talk about that a bit more. And yeah, just get into it. So there are a lot of things I want to do with the backyard and eventually the front yard when we get there. We mostly me, it's kind of my thing, moved a bunch of stuff that was just on the garden bed. There was just kind of rubble, I guess, there. There's like a pile of dirt on the other corner of the yard, and that had a bunch of bricks and everything in it. So I got rid of all those bricks. I moved them around the garden bed and also in the little potted thing that we'll talk about later. Some of the bricks I also put behind the edging, so that it blocks that gap even more between the fence. And I've put like hedges, so obviously they're still quite small, they're from tube stock, so they're still growing. But that was kind of the first thing. And I'm hoping, once the hedges kind of come up, it'd be a really nice barrier. And Pippin isn't, like, destroying plants or anything, so he's pretty easy. I don't think he'll really bother the hedges. And then eventually I might put some, like, flowers kind of underneath the hedges. That could be nice. Keeping in mind just making it easy to whippersnip and do the lawn around. Biggest, I guess, change that we've done so far. And I do like how it looks. You can definitely see where we started doing the edging, because obviously we haven't put it in before, especially not this specific kind. It's a bit wonky, and then it gets a lot straighter as it goes along. But I mean, our whole kind of thing is like, our house is very old and not perfect, but very charming. And all the stuff I want to do in the garden, I don't want some formal garden. I want it to look quite kind of wild and just nice and natural. I mean, you can see some of these bushes behind me, which I love. So, it doesn't matter too much about the edging, and there'll eventually be hedges in front of it anyways. And, it's nice to see just the little human touches to the projects. But that was the first kind of thing we did. I also want to, this thing you see here, I'm going to trim that. So the last planting trips I did, which is where I got the plants that I'm about to put in today, I also got a handsaw to trim stuff back, because you can't really see, but it's basically almost reached the house. That needs to be cut back. I'm also thinking, because the tree that the garden bed is next to, it's actually some sort of fruit tree. If you know what it is, let me know. They look like little plums or crab apples, something. And the branches are so low, like all the fruit is kind of on those lower branches, which shouldn't really be, they should be higher up. And it also makes it awkward for mowing and whippersnippering because they're just so low. Plus, if I cut back a little bit, maybe on the other side, I think it could let a bit more sunlight in, so that could be good for the plants. Because currently, there's like a big patch of sun in the middle most of the time, but then it is like partly shaded. So there were a few plants I didn't get that I would have loved to, like kangaroo paw, a couple other like plants I saw, but they need full sun, so I didn't want to set them up, not for success, and they can go somewhere else at some point. But I do think it would still benefit having a bit more sun there, so we'll see. Not sure if I'll do that today, but I might. So that is our first kind of section, and then we have the potted section. So it's looking very sad at the moment because a possum ate the carnations that I bought recently, so that's okay. And the other plant that's in it, we got given ages ago, like right after we moved in. It sat on this table, actually. I kind of just didn't care for it at all. And then I thought, okay, a few weeks ago when I was repotting all the other stuff, let's move this over here and repot it properly, because it wasn't properly repotted. And it's still looking pretty sad. I cut him back a little bit. I think it might be getting better now. But the potted section is kind of looking very sad. The reason why I started doing the potted section, my original thoughts were to make the garden bed like a proper garden bed, soil and everything, and put plants in there. Then I talked to my mum a bit, who is a landscaper, has been for a very long time, and she was like, look, it's going to be a lot of work, the grass is going to keep coming back, and I just don't think you can have the time for it at the moment, and yeah, which is so fair. I want something quite low maintenance, but looking nice. Like, I'm happy to put in a bit of work, but I do have a lot of other hobbies and, you know, work and everything, so gardening can't be like my full-time thing. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not the way to go. She was like, some pots would be good, you know, put some little pavers up and start out with some pots. So I was like, okay. So that's why I've started out with the pots, kind of. And I was going to go even more that route, where I got quite a few more potted plants, like, very recently. Basically, the plants that I got the other day that I'm going to put in the garden. I was like, maybe I'll just start doing pots only. But then, a couple of weeks ago, I asked her, I was like, oh, like, cause I don't know, I just wasn't thinking about it. I asked her, I was like, what if, can I just plant them in the ground of the garden bed and just, like, kind of work around the grass? And she was like, yeah, like, just get some native potting mix and, make a bit of area around the plant so that it's easy to whippersnip. It's kind of good, because that garden bed, like, it's basically just lawn, but part of it is just kind of dirt and sandy-ish, not sandy, but just kind of dirt, and the grass is in kind of patches anyway, so it's not, like, super dense for grass. But she said, yeah, plant something, make kind of an area around it where you weed, and then, you know, things should do pretty easily. And I like the idea of that a bit more than pots. Like, we have heaps of, like, indoor potted plants now, which I really like, and I still like the pots, but I wanted that kind of natural, like, garden look, and just adding to, the ground in that way. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to start doing now, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, I also got these, because they're on special. I got these yellow ones and the white ones, which are called Amber. These are called Luna. And according to my mum, bulbs also grow great where I am, so bonus. And everything says that they're, like, pretty easy to take care of, and, like, they look really nice. I'll probably put some pictures from online of what they look like here, but I'm gonna plant them in this garden as a part of that whole thing. Ignore the stuff. Okay, you can't really see because it's a really overcast day, but basically that area there where there's more dirt is generally where it's sunnier, and these say full sun. We are going to trim this stuff back. Can't really see where I'm hitting. But I haven't done that yet, and I don't have a tool to do it yet. Later, but yeah, so they're going to go there, roughly, and I want to kind of mix up the colours. So I've got 2 yellow ones, but then I'm going to have, like, a couple white ones near it, and then I think I'll just put them somewhere else, because I don't want it all, like, formal, in a line. That's not the gardening we're going for. 2 white ones. Alright, so obviously looks like nothing, but I've planted some here. I put the sticks in so I remembered where to water. Yellow, white, I think. Oh god, I'm already forgetting. Yellow, white, I really can't see. Yellow, white, which is at, like, the front of the garden bed, kind of there, and then, I think white, yellow, white, which is further at the back and also in the sunnier spot. So we'll see how that goes. My first bulbs, my first a lot of things. Basically, presume everything is like my first time planting it. I'll water them. I'll get on to the rest of the video. I will, like, I'm going to keep the pots that are there for now, because I'm also just kind of experimenting with, like, what I like if maybe I do this garden and I realize it's a lot of work that I don't enjoy, or they just aren't doing well and maybe they end up doing better in pots or something, I don't know. But I'm going to keep it there for now, but I feel like I'm probably going to end up getting rid of them, or just moving that little, like not having the potted section to be there, and just having a couple plant pots around for plants that do well in pots, or to put them in different areas of the garden. Just because I prefer the look of having stuff in the ground and in kind of like that nice garden bed area. But again, just figuring out what I like and like what looks good and everything. So it can stay for now, but don't look at it too hard because it looks very sad. This is said very sad garden pot area. These carnations genuinely looked so beautiful. It was just a random purchase, but like they looked so nice before. There was beautiful pink flowers, and then a possum ate them, and now it's looking really sad. I did cut it back a little bit to try and help, but I don't know. This, yeah, we don't talk about that. This is all the just like junk that was here. It was a little bit scary getting it all out for the first time, because I didn't know what was going to be in there. But yeah, it's pretty much just like aluminium and wood and like a window frame thing that was like embedded here. So this, as well as a bunch of other stuff that we need to get rid of, we'll get rid of at some point, hopefully soon-ish. I think we just need to get a tip. But for now, it's out of the way. And this morning has been the first time I'm able to see the whole garden bed. So this is what we're dealing with. This is the tree. And probably would have put clips of it before, but I have a couple bulbs that I've planted, and they've started sprouting, which is very exciting. However, I have forgotten where I put a bunch of them, and I can't see them at the moment, so we're just going to deal with that. But I have one here, which just started sprouting. I have one here, which is almost kind of sprouting. And then there's one here, which hasn't started sprouting, but I feel like it will soon, because I think they've risen up a little bit, because they said not to plant them too deep, which I didn't, but they had stuff over them, and now they've kind of risen. And then my most exciting one is this guy right here. So I noticed it on Friday, put a little picture there, and then now it's already like almost doubled like its growth, which is so exciting. I know that there are like 3 more somewhere here, but I don't know where, so whatever. There's also another one somewhere, I think here, but apart from that, it is all empty. So obviously I'm going to prioritize like my favorite things in the sun, because even though they are all part shade, obviously the more sun there is, the better. And that's what I was saying, I might end up trimming back some of this, also probably some of that. I think it's okay to trim back when it's on outside. I don't know, might ask them, but that might not be a today thing. So let's get planting. I think this is the first thing I want to plant. It's a grevillea. Very excited about this, and I want it to kind of be, obviously it's kind of the biggest thing I have. Obviously they do get quite tall, so I kind of want it to be the centerpiece at the moment. I also really want like a waratah, and other natives. So the vibe that I kind of want is mostly like native plants, and then kind of like cottagey core stuff. I'm not really planning on planting any fruit vegetables at the moment, especially with the possums. They're probably going to eat them all, but I just want it to be nice. I want to, you know, have lots of insects and butterflies and birds like benefiting from it, and I just think it's nice. It looks nice. So I think this is another native. I don't think I've really seen it before, but it's called a vermillionaire or firecracker plant. Again, all of these are full sun to part shade. This one says 50 to 100 centimeters tall and 60 centimeters wide, so that's kind of cool. And no deadheading necessary. Slows down during the height of winter, but like it's all year round as well, which is really cool. this one, I want to space out a little bit from the grevillea, but be kind of close to it. And I'm keeping in mind where I've got the bulbs, I'm not setting them, don't worry. So my last native of today, this, Scavola, Pippin, Scavel, I don't know, Ruby Gem. And that's really nice. I thought I wanted something kind of, because I have obviously grevillea, firecracker, oranges, and kind of reds, and I've got another plant there. I wanted something kind of purple or pink, and this is also, this is full sun. Oh no, full sun potshade. Yeah, I was like, what? Confused myself. This is kind of like a ground cover. Not kind of, yeah, low-growing ground cover. So I thought that would be cool. As I said, I kind of want overtaken with like plants and everything. So this I kind of want maybe in between them. Bulb. Maybe I space it. And then last but not least, I have these. So these are annuals. So they will like not flower at one point, but you know, that's fine. And I just thought they looked really nice. Just a nice quick like pop of color. I don't believe they're native, but that's okay. They're that kind of cottagey. And also just like good quality, like 10 of these for $10. So like that really kind of fills the garden up a bit. I'll probably leave these till last and then just put them in different places. I also forgot to mention that the grevillea is called Loopy Loo, which my mum and I enjoyed. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Yesterday it was ridiculously hot. We actually went to the aquarium and then the Chinese Gardens of Friendship, which was really nice. Celebrate my birthday just the other day. It was really hot. It was like 38, 40 degrees. Today it's like a lot cooler, but the sun is quite warm. It's probably like, I don't know, 23, 24. The sun is like the hottest spot and I'm right in it, but it's a really nice day. So yeah, baby. Apologies. Pippin was barking, so he had to go inside. Alright. What I was saying. Right. I did get some new indoor pot plants recently, and also I repotted the one that was really struggling, because all the soil was still really wet. And I'm really hoping that saves it again. Because it's like the only plant that's not doing well. Plant we got in the bathroom is going so well. It sprouted a new leaf like the other day, and now it's massive. And now it's sprouting another new leaf, which is very exciting. I've repotted a few plants because they were just getting so big. So all the others are doing really well. So hopefully this one comes back. I'm really excited to do this. I've been wanting to do this for like a while, and I'm glad it kind of worked out where I can actually use the garden bed, because I was a bit sad because it wasn't really fitting my vision of like what I wanted to just do pots. I like pots. Don't get me wrong, they look nice. Well, not the outdoor ones currently, but and I like having them even like amongst plants that are planted in the ground. But I've been very excited about this. I think growing up, it's like, and getting your own house and stuff, I just love Bunnings. And my mum and I were very happy to do a Bunnings trip for my birthday, and that's where these plants came from. And I have some Bunnings vouchers as well that I got for my birthday, so I still have free money to go back and get more plants, which I'm very excited about. I suppose I just leave it on the little stake thing until it grows up a bit more. I don't really know. I did accidentally overheat my phone because it was sitting directly in the sun, but I don't think it really cut me off that much. But hey, first one is in Grevillea Lupilou, and I'm just starting the hole for the firecrackers. Take this out. The roots. Okay. Move this closer. I probably could have dug it maybe a little deeper, but it's fine. Also, this hole was like definitely a bit trickier to dig. There's a lot more grass here and like quite a few big grassy roots, but hopefully it's kind of easy to maintain. And to be honest, it's not like I don't care about there being grass near it looks-wise. It's just keeping the grass maintained and making that easy, because otherwise it will just get overgrown. Like, we get quite a lot of rain in the part of Australia that I'm in, like New South Wales, so a bit more than some other parts. So the grass does grow very quickly once the sun hits and it's rain. Yay, that is our firecracker plant, or vermillionaire. It's good too, because now I'm building a collection of these pots, which makes it very handy for like repotting things. I didn't make this hole as big because it's right next to other ones, and it's a ground cover anyway, so it's not going to be like exact of me weeding around it. But let's put it in the ground. Yep. Jeez. Oh no, the tag thing. I like the idea of just like different heights of things and different colors, and just like nothing's exact or man-made. It's just kind of how it would be. But obviously it is man-made because I'm putting it here, and I'm choosing the things I like the most, but still. Yeah. Okay, we've planted our 3 kind of main plants, so I'm going to show them to you. Here they all are. It doesn't look as great on the camera. There's our firecracker, our, what's it called? Ruby gem? Yes, ruby gem. There we go. A ruby gem. I really like that. And the Grevillea Lupilou. So those are there like that. Now the last thing I have are these, 10 of these, but they are just very little, obviously, holes I have to dig, and I think I'm just gonna put them wherever. I think I might just dig 10 holes so that I've got the digging part over with, and then put them all in. I found another bulb, so it's funny, I was moving grass to dig another hole to put the other flowers in. But I won't put one here. Very funny that I thought that would be a good spot. Clearly, I thought that before. Okay, so there were 8 bulbs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had found 5. There's still 3 more bulbs somewhere in this garden. We'll find out if they sprout. I'll find them later. Or, apparently, if I go to dig up a hole, I'll find them then. The awesome thing of digging up this garden that had the bunch of junk on it, including, I guess, a broken window, is all this glass that I just found from this one little hole. So that's fun. I've dug 7 holes, and that is quite a lot. I've like didn't really think about how much 10 is, but I think what I'm going to do is instead of digging 10, because it just kind of takes up so much garden space, which obviously I've got plenty of space at the moment, but I want to not dig them up in like a couple weeks because I get more plants. I'm going to just put like a couple extra in some of the holes. So the birds are just like jumped in that tree there. Oh, can you see them? Try and zoom in. Hello. Hmm? Yeah, there they are. Very loud. What are they doing? Mating? Fighting? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm gonna plant them now. Okay, that's all of them, but there was still one left. I just didn't want to double up so much, but I think I'm gonna put it inside. I have like this little green pot. You would have seen it if you watched like the last video. There was a green pot. It's doing really, really well, but it was doing so well that I was like, this does need to be repotted. So it's in a really big new pot now, which means I still have the green pot to put a plant in. And I also repotted the plant that was in the black pot, I think it's a calathea, because that was also doing really well, and I wanted it to keep doing well. So that's in another big pot, but I got another new plant for that old pot. So point is, I have one little pot left. So I thought I could try putting this in there, just that way there's not as many in this garden, but it looks really nice, so I'll show you. That's the garden. So obviously just the start, but I'm really excited. I think it looks like quite nice already. Just adding anything obviously is just going to make it look a bit nicer, and I'm really excited to see how it all grows. Hopefully it all goes well. Obviously some of these flowers are more in the shade than others, and realistically they'll probably stay more in the shade because I probably won't cut that far back. And again, some of the bulbs are sprouted. Obviously that one over there is doing really well because it is right in the sun. So we'll see how they go as well. But you know, it's all just experimentation and just like kind of having fun, and what does well, and what doesn't. I can always move things, but I'm very excited for the grevillea and all of it. I really actually like the ruby gem, and adding those little annual flowers really does just give like an instant pop of color. To be honest, they might be made native, but I don't think they are. I actually don't know what they are, so I'll have to look into it. It didn't have like the name on the tag, but that's the garden. Awesome. Ah, it's a really beautiful day, so it was really nice to do this. And if we just ignore all the stuff over there, it looks nice and clean. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm really happy with how it's all coming out, and I'm really excited to start doing more of it. Pippin has approved. I'm gonna go pot that indoor plant and have some lunch. Bye.